All right, pickups for the second week of April. At first, I thought I'd mention that I went back to the West Georgia Flea Market this morning, which is the same place where I found the NES games that had something smuggled inside of them. And I spoke to all the big game vendors there and noticed one of them who had about 15 copies of Golf last week only had one left, and that would be on his $3 rack. And so Tommy of Gator Games told me that somebody was there yesterday, that would be Saturday, that he was feeling all the cartridges and weighing them and trying to see what the center of balance was, and ended up just buying them all. And I guess he was treating them like $3 lottery tickets. Like, there's a chance to win in every one, but no. Like, I already checked last week. No, there was nothing nothing suspicious or out of the ordinary with his golf cartridges. And plus, there's no reason to think that the smuggling ring is specifically targeting golf, even if another one happened to have money in golf years ago. And that's probably just because it's a really common game that's really cheap, and if you just wanted one as a throwaway title, there's a good chance you'd end up with golf. So anyway, just thought that was kind of amusing. I talked to another major vendor there. I don't think she has a name for her business, but her name is Inez. And she was talking about how people were combing through every single one of her cartridges yesterday too. So I don't know if this phenomenon is only at the flea market where I found those things, or if it's happening all over the place because of what several of the news articles have insinuated. They were just joking around about a golf smuggling ring. But, it really does seem that people have been using NES games to smuggle stuff in somewhat routinely for at least several years. So let's get to the pickups now. So, all right. First, I finally got an EEPROM eraser, which is really just a fancy ultraviolet light bulb and with a timer on it. And that's going to let me finally erase some of the EEPROMs that I've already programmed, since my old one's been on the fritz for a while. Probably just need a new bulb, but I'm not going to look at the bulb to see if it still comes on and ruin my eyes, since it's the wrong kind of light. I think it's UVC. And so, yeah, I finally got that. I'll finally be able to erase those chips so I can reprogram them. In which case, it's going to come in particularly useful because I'm upgrading from the free version of Unibios to the paid version for myself and a few friends. And but next, I typically don't show what I buy to resell, and since I've been upgrading these with Ultra HDMI, it's technically reselling them, even though I'm upgrading them first. But the only reason why I'm showing this one is because it came with some games, many of which I'm going to be keeping. Strangely, I only had the 98 version of Wayne Gretzky, even though it's like a $3 game. And didn't have the wrestling games because I knew I would probably pick them up in a lot at some point. And that's exactly what happened. Another copy of Star Wars, and I'm sure somebody's going to like that one. And I'm going to use this for the Shield to make a repro of Zelda Master Quest. And this is actually the copy I already had on the shelf of Fox Sports College Hoops 99, because the one that came with this was in better shape, so went ahead and swapped out my original. But that's the only reason why that's in here. But let's see. Next up is more stuff from Zero Gravity Games in Fayetteville, Georgia. This, I don't understand. LucasArts doesn't seem to want to put actual names on their cartridges. There's no end labels, but this is Rescue on Fractalus, or Rescue of Fractalus. This is Ball Blazer. And Real Sports Soccer for the Atari 5200, which I thought I already had this, but it's not checked off on my list, and I couldn't find it on the shelf, so, well, now I have a copy. And, let's see, so these came from the flea market yesterday. We have more Atari 2600 games, Frogs and Flies with the manual in box, some Sesame Street games, Big Bird's Egg Catch with the manual, Alpha Beam with Ernie. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of fun out of those now. But, Off the Wall, which is a late Atari 2600 game from 1989, well into the NES era. Space Chase, I think I have this for Atari 5200 already, and, but kind of want to do a comparison, see how the 2600 version compares. Encounter at L5, did not have that one. And Adventure, but it's not the one that everyone's talking about as a result of Ready Player One. This is for the Texas Instruments TI Basic TI-99/4A home computer, which was my first computer, which I didn't really consider it a computer back then. I considered it more of a game console, since you popped in game cartridges and played them. And so yeah, that was one I didn't have, so it's being added to the collection. Oh yeah, one more thing from Zero Gravity Games. They were charging the same price for a Sega Saturn controller as for a Sega Genesis controller, which really kind of says that they overcharge for their Sega Genesis controllers, but they do have a good loyalty program to get them for a little cheaper. And, but I have enough Saturns and not enough controllers, and so decided to go ahead and pick this up. And let's see, get these out of the way. Next up, I keep forgetting things from March. So that was another one from Steel Collectibles, Bust a Move for MVS. It was never released on Neo Geo AES, and so pretty much this is the only proper way to play it. And so I have been doing preliminary work on consoleizing this, and I do have enough equipment to get it connected to a TV, but I haven't actually started, packaging it all together permanently, getting a base plate to mount it all to, adding switches and everything. And but I have been able to play it at least. And, I do have another NVS board that I plan to integrate into like a briefcase with arcade controls and everything, so it would be like a portable Neo Geo where you open the top and have an LCD and just start playing it. So I'll have two ways to play this one, but I'll have to decide which one to get rid of since I don't need two of them. All right, another flea market find. This desperately needs to be cleaned. And it's a very nasty looking Game Boy, but it does work, except the screen has some lines in it, and I have a special soldering iron tip that should be able to, I guess, apply heat to the back to restore some of the connections. I've seen that work for some people. And I haven't tried it yet, even though I've been sitting on that tip for a while, just because all my Game Boys seem to work. So I've got some glass replacement screen covers that I can put on here, and hopefully the rest of that will clean up well and make it usable again. It came with, let's see, Battleship, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Back from the Sewers, which is one I did not have and have been looking for a while, Dr. Mario, Super Mario Land, and Baseball, first party titles. And I think my Mario Land didn't have a label and my Baseball didn't have a case, but that fixes that. This was a Goodwill find. Came with the guitar controller and the cables and everything, but they're not shown here to reduce clutter. So wireless receiver, original memory card. Don't know if it works yet, but for $8.98 for a PS2, I think it's worth it. And even if the drive's not working, I'll find a way to get it to load off of a hard drive using free memory card boot. And all right, my brother went ahead and purchased the updated Super Mario cereal where they got rid of the amiibo and changed the box art. And even though he's not wearing a Cappy hat, they didn't seem to change the marshmallows at all. Like, I think that's supposed to be Cappy, like it was on the older version of the cereal. And it doesn't seem to taste any different. Like most kids' cereals, it's way too sweet, but I seem to have a different opinion than most people. They all say it's not sweet enough. And then again, I'm someone who actually liked cornflakes and Cheerios with no added sugar, even when I was a kid. So, all right. That was a good deal. $23 for the gold wireless stereo headset from Sony. And I've checked it out. Everything's in there. The wireless receiver, the cables, the USB charger, everything. They still have the twist ties on it, like it's never been used, even though Bargain Hunt is a place that typically has returned goods from other stores. And thing is, I already had one. And so I think I actually might have paid more for this at the flea market than for the box copy from Bargain Hunt. So now I got two of them. So one will go with the PSVR for my brother, and the other will be for general use around here. And this I got Sunday last week, which, all this is supposed to be from last week. It's a Colecovision. So I already had Donkey Kong, now I have Smurfs, and but yeah, I don't have a very big Colecovision library. So 2 days later, Colecovision library expanded. Only problem is that this did not come with controllers, but it was less than $2, $1.91 from Goodwill, and it looks like the twist tie has never been undone on here. So I guess it's essentially brand new. And my guess is somebody bought it for the controllers because there are adapters to use them with an original Colecovision. And I guess that would explain why it ended up there with no controllers anymore. So, all right. Right here. Got this on clearance. PlayStation 3, the pistol grip for the PlayStation Move controller. And I already had one. I call it the Earthworm Jim Blaster, but now I can dual wield with these things. If there's even a game that supports that, I don't know. It was on clearance, so I got it. Now, one more thing. It's the SumaCut D60. It's a vinyl cutter or plotter cutter that could cut a lot more than just vinyl. And I've got a lot of plans for this thing. Like, if I could figure out how to even get it working, since I don't have any of the software or manuals or anything. But it was at a yard sale when I was picking up an SNES for a friend of mine. And a guy was moving, had to get rid of it now. And maybe I'm a sucker, but I only paid $100 for it, and I see online that these SumaCut ones go for a lot more. And what I plan to do is figure out if it can cut marine grade seat vinyl so I can make dust covers for things. And if it does, I have a lot of plans for that. So it's not going to be just dust covers, it's just like one use for it. But it'll cut paper and cardboard and all those other things too, whatever I can feed through the back, and probably curl it a bit, but maybe that'll solve my problem of not being able to find 16-inch photo printable poster board for my Epson Stylus Pro 3880 professional printer, since it has the ability to print directly to poster board, but the only printable poster board Epson sells is like 24 inches or something ridiculous like that. So if I can run it through here, it gets straight enough cuts that it'll feed properly through a printer, that might solve that problem for me. And I have some interesting products to offer as a result. All right, so I guess I'll just close out of this by saying that we do plan to have a website up and running on westillplay.com, hopefully to offer our modified N64s and NESs. At first, that's all it will be, without having to pay the eBay fees. And we'll still probably have a presence on eBay and put our best ones there. And but the website should be up soon. If not, then at least we'll have a landing page with a link for contacting us or something. So maybe a link to our eBay store so it's not being completely wasted. But figure I better mention it now, since I seem to have a little bit more attention than usual. And maybe that'll help springboard something. I'm doing my usual thing, looking for video game stuff here at the thrift store, and my brother found this. And I'm not sure I want to know. Maybe I shouldn't even touch that. Yeah. Tag. Life Pod. Oh, tissue dispenser.